Larks! Hey, Larks!
Okay, there we go.
Two nights ago, the Larks played their final road game of the 2025 season, and tonight they start a 10-game homestand against the Colorado Roughriders to wrap out the 2025 regular season. As we welcome you into the pregame show, my name is Hank Corsair, and for the first time in a few weeks, we welcome back Eli Blankenship.
I'm back. I'm alive, everyone. I'm alive.
But the Larks enter tonight's game coming off of a win over the Kansas Cannons by a final score of 9-5. It was another instance where the Larks got an early lead, and then their opponents start to fight back, and then the pitching steps up, and it translates over to the bats for another big win. And the Larks finished this year 8-3 on the road, doing one better than last season where they went 7-3.
That's a great performance on the road for the Larks on the season. 8-3 is very respectable. I mean, you're bound to lose a few games here and there, and if you lose a few on the road, it's really not the end of the world. They're sitting really nicely at 19-4-1 on the record over the season, and they've got all home games left for the rest of the season, so they're looking real nice here going into the very home stretch of the season, getting ready to go into the NBC World Series.
And tonight is their fourth game of the season against the Colorado Roughriders, coming into tonight's game at 8-12. And this team, since they beat the Larks back on July 2nd, they've only played 2 games in that stretch, which both of them have been losses. And one of their problems tonight is they're going to be a little shorthanded. Counting them in the batting practice, they only had 12 players there. But they've shown throughout the season that if they can light up the scoreboard, they can compete against any team in the RMBL.
They absolutely can, and we've seen time and time again, even when they're short-staffed, they still show up to play. There's been a couple times where they're short-staffed, they keep the game really close, and then they just edge it out at the very end. I think that the Larks really have a great opportunity here to continue out on this final stretch of the season and really kind of end out on a bang going into that NBC World Series. Try to get a little bit more momentum going into the really final part of the season.
And every regular season game from here on out is going to be right here at Larks Park, and that's a huge thing for this team. They perform very well at home. They've gotten some big wins, and in fact, they only have one loss here at Larks Park this entire season. So, like you said, that should build up a lot of momentum before going down to Wichita for the NBC World Series.
Yeah, it absolutely will. And Larks Park is a great place to play. These guys are familiar playing here. We have quite a decent amount of returners on this Larks squad that they're pretty comfortable here, and the home crowd here in Hayes is always a great show of support for this Larks team.
Tonight will be the 25th regular season game on the year, and we will have first pitch up next here on the Larks Network. Tonight, the Larks play their 25th game of the regular season and start their first of 10 final home games against the Colorado Roughriders, who they're 2-1 against on the season, looking for revenge since that loss back on July 2nd, and looking to start off this final stretch of home games with a win.
Yep, and they're, as you said, they're really trying to start this final stretch of the season off on a good note. And for the Larks, they've got that first part of their season was pretty road heavy, and now this kind of last third to quarter of their season is all at home. And this is almost a perfect way to end your season. You end off on some good momentum, a good environment. They've got their home crowd here backing them tonight, and boy, the people of Hayes have really showed up and showed out for their Larks, as they always do. And it's really nice to get to see that throughout the season, and it really helps support this Larks team and kind of pushes them forward throughout the season.
We await the first pitch as it comes right here, and it's a line drive into center field. Caleb Duncan just has to run up a few steps, and there it is. On the first pitch, there's out number one with the leadoff batter for the Roughriders, Brett Atkinson.
Well, Atkinson came out swinging. He saw a pitch he liked. He made pretty good contact with it, too. There's nothing he could really do about it. Hit it straight to Duncan. He squared up on the ball real nice, too. Got his hips turned and everything. Made good contact, just hit that right into Duncan's mitt, and Duncan really didn't have to do a whole lot to get to that ball.
After the out from the center fielder, it's the center fielder for the Roughriders that's up to bat, and that is Hunter Stevens, leaving that one outside for ball one. On that first pitch, the time was 7:11, and right now we have 93 degrees at first pitch. It is cloudy, but the sun is peeking out, and we have 20-mile-per-hour winds, and right now we currently sit at a severe thunderstorm watch, but that is not expected to arrive in Hayes until around 10 or 11.
We're hoping it won't. We're keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that it doesn't rain tonight.
Another fly ball here for the Roughriders. Running back for it as Espinal couldn't make the grab. It'll roll to the wall. Stevens heads for second base. Espinal throws it in. And after a fly out to start the game, the Roughriders respond with a double to right field.
It almost looked like Espinal might have just misjudged the ball. There's kind of a really weird wind direction here for Espinal. That wind is kind of coming across the field. The flag is actually flying towards left field is the best way I can describe it. And so that wind is kind of a crosswind for Espinal, and it makes it really hard for that ball to kind of do predictable things. And for Espinal, that was probably a tough catch to make.
Jake Willerup now comes up to bat, facing off against Dalton Campbell in his fifth start of the season, the Larks strikeout leader with 38.
And Campbell's been fantastic so far for the Larks this season. 38 strikeouts. I mean, what more can you ask for? Additionally, he's got a 5.02 ERA, which doesn't sound all that great on paper, but for this league, it's been pretty solid, especially for the Larks, for this Larks team. He's gotten in there, got his job done, and you said it best, strikeout leader. I mean, there's really not any more you can ask for if you're Coach Leo.
Count now 1-2 to the redshirt freshman from Gilbert, Arizona, Jake Willerup. Will run down the rest of the order for the Roughriders. After Willerup, it's Mark Hamry, Mason Pettingill, Aaron Kidd, Matt Gahan, Marco Polizzi, and then the final batter in the order will be Andy LaPearl, and we'll look at the Larks defensive lineman in just a second. Here's a ground ball, making a diving play for it. It's C.J. Reed. He gets up, throws it over to Jackson Babcock, and there's out number 2.
That was an incredible play there from C.J. Reed. A diving attempt there, getting the ball stopped, brought down into his glove, and then makes the play. I mean, what a play. Having the composure to get up and make that throw, too. I mean, great play from C.J. Reed. That was a beautiful baseball play right there.
That last play moved Hunter Stevens over to third base. Larks just need one more out to retire the side. And the foul ball to start there is from number 32, Mark Hamry for the Roughriders. And here is the Larks defensive alignment. Lane Sparks will be playing left field tonight. Caleb Duncan is back in center field. And Wilbert Espinal, who is playing in his third game with the Larks, is back in right field. Thomas Lissy is back at third base. Jackson Babcock is playing at first. And then on the inside of the infield is the usual Tabor Stokes at shortstop and C.J. Reed playing second base. And the catcher tonight is Paul Smith. It's a 1-1 count to Mark Hamry, the sophomore from Arvada, Colorado. Grounds us over to Thomas Lissy. He'll field it cleanly, and the Larks get out number 3. They had a fly out to start the inning, and then a double from Hunter Stevens. He is left stranded at third, and the Larks will be up to bat next when we come back. The Larks were able to hold the Roughriders in the first inning, only allowing one runner to get on and holding him at third. And now Caleb Duncan comes up to bat to start at the bottom of the first inning against the pitcher for the Roughriders tonight, which is Cannon Frost, the sophomore from the Division II level with USC Aiken, making his third start of the season. And a half-hearted swing, they're going to say Duncan went around, and it starts to count off 0-1. Real quick rundown of the rest of the Larks order after Caleb Duncan. Lane Sparks is once again batting second in the order. Trent Baker returns as the designated hitter, and right there Caleb Duncan takes it on the arm, and he's going to head down over to first base.
Not a bad way to start the inning here for the Larks. They got a runner on first, and now they've got opportunities here to kind of make something happen and get this inning going and maybe try to get some runs on the board here early in this game.
Lane Sparks comes up to bat. He had six appearances at the plate 2 nights ago. And again, a look at the lineup after Sparks. Trent Baker is back in the lineup as the designated hitter tonight, batting third. Jackson Babcock will be the cleanup batter. Wilbert Espinal moves up to the 5th spot. Paul Smith will bat 6th in the order, and then the final 3 batters are Thomas Lissy, Tabor Stokes, and C.J. Reed. Sparks will let that one go by for an 0-1 count. Had an RBI and a single against the Cannons. Also pitched 1 inning where he had a no-hitter and had 2 strikeouts. Pops this one foul, and he is now down 0-2. Duncan will take a lead over at first base. And this one fouled perfectly off the pole. That's good for us with the camera because usually when it hits the net, it knocks it out of place. Just a light shake right there.
Well, and thankfully he hit the other pole. He didn't aim for our camera pole, so Sparks was being considerate of us here and for you folks back home watching on YouTube.
While you were gone, we had a couple times where it got knocked out of place and one where it almost hit it head on.
He must have heard you complaining or something and knew that he had to aim his foul balls away from the camera if there is such a thing.
Here's the 1-2 from Frost. Goes low in the zone, and Sparks fights back. The count now 2-2.
And Sparks is a fighter. He never gives up an account, and I see the same thing on the base paths. He's so quick, and he knows that he can make it if he really just puts his mind to it. And so mental strength from Sparks is something where he really excels.
That's the second foul ball there from Sparks since having 2 strikes in the count. It would be huge to get Sparks on right here. He enters as the Larks leader in stolen bases with 20, and you also got Caleb Duncan on the base path as well. He's very quick when he moves around there. And then you have Trent Baker up next, who has hit a home run in what is now 5 games in a row.
Man, that's a pretty incredible streak there Baker's got going on.
Payoff pitch will be put in play, and it's fielded by the first baseman. Sparks will just let him tag first base, and that puts Caleb Duncan over at second, and there's one away.
It's probably a good thing they put the steal sign on there for Duncan. Duncan was able to get a little bit of a jump and make it to second before they could have an opportunity to even throw over there to second base. So now, instead of having a double play potentially, or even having only a runner on first, you got a runner in scoring position here. So while Sparks probably wasn't the result he was looking for, didn't actually hurt the Larks too much there in the end.
Trent Baker now playing in his 20th game of the season in the batting order. Gets the first pitch from Frost to leave it up there for ball one.
Another thing to think about is Sparks really can't hang his head from that at bat. He started out in that count 0-2 and worked his way all the way back to a full count. While, yes, he didn't get on base, he's wearing that pitcher down very slowly when he does that.
Here's a line drive from Trent Baker, but it's ran up on by the right fielder Jake Willerup, and there's 2 away.
And that right field is going to be really difficult to judge any fly ball coming in there. Really the outfield in general, but right field especially is going to be difficult because of the way the wind is blowing. And so that's not a routine play by any means on a night like tonight. So props to Jason Willer up there for making that play.
Jackson Babcock comes up to bat. He had an RBI single and a run against the Kansas Cannons in the Larks last game. Last time he played against the Roughriders, it was on the field of one of his college rivals, and they'll put this one in play. And once again, the first baseman Hamry fields that, and there is out number 3. Duncan got on as the leadoff batter, made it over to second, but 3 outs follow after that. And when we come back, the Roughriders will have their 5th, 6th, and 7th batters up next in the order. Both teams have had 1 runner on so far through the first inning. We'll see if they try to open it up right here as Mason Penningle comes up to bat for the Colorado Roughriders. After him, it'll feature Aaron Kidd and Matt Gahan, still facing off against Dalton Campbell, the Oklahoma City Star, in his 5th start of the season. We'll lead the first one outside, starting the count off 1-0 to the third baseman from Regis. One of 4 players from Regis, which is where the Roughriders play their home games.
Well, it's always cool to get to see some of those hometown players play at their own ballpark, or even kind of represent their home team or their college's team per se. You get to see Brady Kreitzer here in Hayes get to represent the Larks after having a pretty extensive career with the Tigers, and so getting to see those players kind of represent those smaller clubs is always fun to get to watch them do that.
1-2. That one will be a drop third strike picked up by Paul Smith. He will give it over to Jackson Babcock, and there is out number 1. First strikeout of the game there from Dalton Campbell. And out to bat is the left fielder Aaron Kidd for the Roughriders.
Just 1 strike away now from 40 strikeouts on the season. Pretty impressive mark, all things considered. He's only pitched in, let's see here. What did I see? I think it was what?
This is his 8th game.
8th game. So, I mean, that's a pretty incredible number there to have almost 40 strikeouts in 8 total games. That's pretty impressive.
Another pitch will be left outside to Aaron Kidd. He will face a 1-1 count. The thing, though, for Dalton Campbell is what he does is he just starts getting strikeouts from the get-go. He's gotten at least 7 strikeouts in 4 of the games that he's played in. Kidd leaves that one outside. He moves to a 2-1 count.
He's averaging about 5-ish strikeouts a game if you do the math. So that's a pretty impressive mark to be hitting consistently, I should say.
Another Rough Rider gets down with 2 strikes in the count. They enter this game with 190 hits on the year, but 209 strikeouts. And Campbell delivers the next pitch. This one goes into the parking lot of doom, keeping the count at 2-2.
I don't know if that might have gone all the way to the water park. I don't know. That might have got past the parking lot of doom straight into the pool.
Campbell puts the next one on the inside, and he will work on a full count against Aaron Kidd. Redshirt sophomore from Parker, Colorado that's played in 16 games over a span of 2 seasons with Regis. Payoff pitch on the way. Will be fouled out of play. And it lands in the parking lot, doesn't hit a car. I don't know if I told you, but my car fell victim to the parking lot while you were away.
No.
We'll go back to action right here. That one's put on the inside, and it's a walk for Aaron Kidd.
Now the real question is what kind of damage was on the car after that parking lot of doom hit?
I didn't notice it right away. I started my car. I look up. Crack is right there.
Oh, no. That's terrible.
I'm waiting until the end of the season to change it. I'm
That's
not taking
probably
risks.
a good call.
We're through the first 6 batters for the Rough Riders, and Matt Gahan is the next batter up from Scottsdale, Arizona. Another player for Regis fouls this one into the net. It shakes the camera but stays in place. The runner at first base is Aaron Kidd, who was walked just a second ago. Next one gets put on the outside. Gahan faces a 1-1 count.
We can see just how visibly windy it is there. You see that umpire there in the infield, and additionally even the umpire behind home plate, that both of their pants are just blowing in the wind. You can see the bottoms of their pants are just occasionally when the wind picks up, you'll see a wind gust, and it's just like their pants are glued to their legs because of how windy it is already here this evening. So that's certainly going to be a factor here going down into the later stretch of this game.
20 miles per hour at first pitch with 34 mile per hour gusts. Gahan is ahead 3-1. Paul Smith saves that one from going behind home plate. After Matt Gahan, it'll be the designated hitter Marco Palizzi and then Andy LaPearl, the second baseman. Campbell looks to fight back. He puts that one on the outside part of the plate, and it's ball 4. So Marco Palizzi up to bat, 200 batting average for him on the season. From Montoursville, Pennsylvania, played also another player for the Rough Riders that played Division II baseball this last season at Millersville, where he appeared in 9 games this season with only 3 at-bats because he was primarily used as a pinch runner, scoring 4 runs. We'll see how Campbell works right here with a runner in scoring position. Half-hearted swing. It's on the outside part of the plate. That's strike 1. Campbell took a peek back at second base, puts another one on the outside, and that's called strike 2. Lizzie will have to fight back right here. There's still just 1 out. Here comes the pitch. It's put low in the low part of the zone for ball 1. We're seeing the runners for the Rough Riders take some small leads. They've only had 30 stolen base attempts this season, successful on 25 of them. And Campbell gets his second strikeout of the inning, puts it in the low part of the zone. Polizzi just watched it go by, and there's 2 away.
That's strikeout number 40 on the season for Dalton Campbell. An impressive mark to hit this at this point of the season, especially considering it's only played in 8 games. I say only. That's quite a few games for the amount of games that they play. But regardless, he still has not made an appearance a ton for him to already have 40 strikeouts.
Trying to get on the leaderboard for strikeouts at the end of the season. If I'm looking at it right here, he needs at least 71 to get on that leaderboard. No one is ever going to touch the record for strikeouts in a season for the Larks, set back in 1941 with 226.
Oh, my gosh. That is insane. I don't know if they had the whole hitting thing figured out back at that time.
It's a 1-1 count here to the final batter in the order for the Roughriders, Andy LaPearl, the junior from Concord University. Gets a tied count at 2-1. This is where the Larks got to be careful when they've played the Roughriders throughout this season. It's usually, surprisingly, the 9-hole spot that gets a lot of hits. And right here, this one's sent into right field and lands in front of Wilbert Espinal as he ran up on it. He will throw it into Paul Smith. Didn't even need the cutoff man. They will keep a runner at third, and LaPearl's got a single.
I think you're like a fortune teller. Are you seeing the future? You just literally go, yeah, they got to be careful. And the 9-hole spot, that's where a lot of there it is right there. There's the 9-hole spot. Hits that ball into shallow right field. There's not a whole lot that Espinal could really do on that play. Just all he could do was field it and keep that runner on third. So now the Larks really have to get an out here with the bases loaded.
Put in play over to Thomas Lissy. He will field it, and he'll just tag third. The Larks keep the bases loaded for the Roughriders and allow no runs in that inning. Wilbert Espinal will lead things off for the Larks when we come back. The Roughriders had the bases loaded in the last inning with 2 outs, and they're all left stranded. As we're still 0-0 going into the bottom of the second inning, Wilbert Espinal will lead things off in the inning, the newest member of the Hayes Larks this season, followed by Paul Smith and Thomas Lissy this inning. This is his 3rd game since rejoining the team. He'll let the first one go by, starting with an 0-1 count in the inning against Cannon Frost. Played in 27 regular season games last year. Takes a swing at the next one. He's now down 0-2.
The Roughriders had a fairly productive inning on that last inning, just couldn't quite get any runs driven in. And the Larks did a pretty nice job defensively trying to keep them at bay. With the bases loaded, you would expect the Roughriders to have at least driven in one, and they couldn't seem to find the plate. They left a lot of ducks on the pond there in that half inning. So we'll see if the Larks can maybe find the scoreboard here in the bottom of the second here.
Espinal steps back into the box with the count 1-2. And leaves that one outside for ball number 2. So far, the Larks have put just about every ball in play, with Frost getting help from his fielders, which is important for this team tonight. Like I said in the pregame show, they only had 12 guys at batting practice. And they're handling their own so far, as it's a 2-2 count still to Espinal, fouling that one off on the third base side. Here comes the pitch to the junior from Marietta, Georgia. And that will leave him with a full count. Larks have already had one batter faced with a full count already. That was Lane Sparks. And this time it's a strikeout to Espinal, swinging and missing for the first out from Cannon Frost as he records his 22nd strikeout of the season.
Strikeout number 1 on the night for Cannon Frost, and now we'll see what catcher Paul Smith can do here for the Larks.
Was not in the lineup in the prior game. He was a relief pitcher, which, looking at the Rice Owls website, I wasn't able to find anything about him pitching in his high school days or at Rice, but he did very well in those 2 innings that he pitched. No hits, no runs, and 4 strikeouts. And the Larks pitching did a really good job that entire game. All the runs in that game for the Cannons came in the 3rd inning, and the Larks got the lead back in the next 2 innings and just held on to it for the rest of the night. Smith faces an 0-2 count.
He's going to have to protect here at 0-2. Strike zone's looking real big for Paul Smith if he's up there trying to protect the plate.
He'll put this one in play, rolling to the second baseman, LaPearl. On the run, he gives it over to Hamry, and there is the second out of the inning. So Thomas Lissy, the incarnate word Cardinal, comes up to bat. And something that I'm just realizing, we didn't run down the Roughriders defensive alignment, so I'll do that real fast. The left fielder is Aaron Kidd, center fielder is Hunter Stevens, and right field is number 7, Jake Willerup, and then on the infield, third baseman is Mason Pettingle, shortstop is number 13, Brett Atkinson, second baseman is number 2, Andy LaPearl, and the first baseman will be number 32, Mark Hamry, and the catcher is number 25, Matt Gahan. Let's see, we'll start with a 1-0 count. He had a big game down in Augusta, going 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored as well as an RBI. He'll pop this one out of play. And we'll face a 1-1 count.
I really hope they didn't hit my car. That was really close.
There are 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. Larks trying to avoid 3 up, 3 down. Put in play there by Lissy. It's fouled off. He will now face a 1-2 count. Had many highlights in the game against the Kansas Cannons. My personal favorite one didn't have anything to do with his at-bats or his fielding. Since I sat outside the press box, there was a foul ball. He came over, ran right in front of me, saw me, and he looks up, and all he says is, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad."
I think that's like a Sports Center top 10 moment there, I think, for the Larks. I think that's like the highlight-worthy moment, I'd say. Get him mic'd up. I think we need to do Hayes Larks mic'd up. I don't know. That might be entertaining.
I'll talk to Brandon about that for the NBC World Series. Lissy stays alive. We'll wait the 6th pitch of the at-bat now as he fouls off a 2-2 count. He's really improved his batting throughout this season. Enters tonight with a .370 average and a .466 slugging percentage. We'll see where Frost decides to put this one. Catcher wants it on the outside. It's put in play right up the middle. The second baseman can't track it down, and Thomas Lissy has the first hit of the night for the Larks.
Nice little knock there for Thomas Lissy. Found the gap and just dribbled it on through there. He'll take that base hit any day of the week.
We'll see if a rally can start right here. Tabor Stokes, the only Lark that wasn't in the lineup last game that's in the lineup tonight, is up to bat.
Sometimes the best rallies come at 2 outs. You just never know when a rally can start forming, get the rally caps going, and see what things see what can happen here for the Larks.
Tabor Stokes' college teammate, C.J. Reed, is the last batter of the order. He's on deck. Thomas Lissy will head down to second, and they will catch him stealing. He got on through a single with 2 outs, and he's the final out of the inning. So we'll go to the top of the third. It's the 2, 3, 4 batters up next for the Roughriders. It is time for the top of the third inning, and we'll take this opportunity real quickly to shout out today's game sponsors. Tonight it's Eye Smile Vision and Dental, Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, Prospectively Healthy and Wellness Clinic, and Golden Belt Bank. We thank you for your support of tonight's game and for Hayes Larks baseball. As we get set for the top of the third inning, Dalton Campbell returns to the mound. For both teams in every inning so far, they've gotten at least one runner on, just trying to bring at least one run home.
One thing I'll note about our sponsors, they were able to provide us some pretty cool T-shirts tonight at the ballpark, so a great appreciation there for them. I'm sure all the Larks faithful as well really appreciates that.
First pitch of the inning to Hunter Stevens. He has his second hit of the night, getting a single into right field. And out to bat is Jake Willerup. Redshirt freshman from Chandler Gilbert Community College. 2023 was an ACCAC first team and second team selection. He's the first pitch up there for ball one against Campbell, who had 2 strikeouts in the prior inning, giving him now 40 on the year. Up high and outside, and Willerup is ahead 2-0. After Jake Willerup, it'll be Mark Hamry, Mason Pettingill, and Aaron Kidd. And that ties the count, put on the inside. It's now 2-1 to Jake Willerup, who's 0 for 1 on the night. First appearance, he had a ground out to C.J. Reed at second base. Once again, working with Hunter Stevens on the base path, and now he's down 2-2. We'll see if Campbell can find the zone again right here. He kicks and deals looking at first base, and it's fouled back into the net. We'll await the 6th pitch of the at-bat. That one curved into the zone. Another one goes off the pole.
I think he might have hit the pole cap. It looked like he might have. That was pretty impressive. The ball on the pole cap, the metal ball that is, that's pretty impressive. That was, I don't think I've ever seen something like that before.
Neither have I. Here comes the 2-2 from Campbell. And Willerup stays alive, putting that one out of play.
That one might have been out of the parking lot of doom. I think that might have even gone to like the neighborhood of doom. That was way up in the air. That ball had to have carried a little ways.
If it lands in the pool, there will be people tomorrow going into the deep end, and going to the very bottom looking for one.
Free souvenir.
It'll be a full count now to Willerup, leaving that one low and outside. Fourth batter overall in the game to face full count. Here comes the payoff pitch, and it's ball 4. And now Keith Harper will get out of his lawn chair. He's going to head over to the mound for a quick meeting here with Dalton Campbell before facing off the cleanup batter, Mark Hamry.
Now's a good time for a mound meeting. They got 2 runners on, no outs here in the top of the 3rd inning, and kind of in that situation right now where they're like, okay, we trust you, but let's get things going here. We got to get things back into the rhythm of things. I just think Campbell kind of lost his rhythm there a little bit, and even that last inning we saw a little bit of that for a little bit. He got the bases loaded. He still got out of it though, so Campbell's no stranger to having a little bit of pressure on his back. Sometimes people will perform a little bit better under the pressure too. So.
Just has to find the zone and trust his fielders, because you can't let Colorado score a lot of runs. When they get an early lead and put up a lot of runs on the scoreboard, they can compete with anybody in this league.
He's done that so far. No runs for either team. It's just a matter of time, though, before one team finds their way onto the scoreboard, as there's been plenty of base runners, just not a lot of scoring.
The runners will take a lead on the base path. Hunter Stevens at second, Jake Willerup at first. Mark Hamry waits his first pitch. He'll put this one in play, fielded by Thomas Lissy. Gives it over to C.J. Reed. That's one. Trying to get 2, and they do it. First double play of the night. There's now 2 away, but the Roughriders have a runner 90 feet away from home plate.
Well, they needed that big time, and that was a huge double play there for the Larks. They were kind of starting to be in a little bit of trouble there. They were getting a little bit of a hairy situation with runners on first and second. You had a runner in scoring position. Instead, you field the ball cleanly, find the guy at second, make that throw over to first just in time, and double play is a much-needed one for the Larks.
5-4-3 to get outs 1 and 2. And Mason Pettingill returns to the plate, trying to bring home another run. Or bring home the first run, excuse me. He faces an 0-2 count. Roughriders have been in this situation already. Runner at third with 2 outs on the scoreboard. Here comes the 0-2. Lined out of play.
If he can straighten that pitch that he just swung at out, that's going to be a pretty lethal line drive to right field. He could have found the line there. That would have been dangerous.
Up high and outside for the first ball of the at-bat to Mason Pettingill. Freshman from Dana Point, California. That was a redshirt at Regis this last season. This is his 10th game of the year with the Roughriders. He'll hit this one into center field. And the Wichita State shocker, Caleb Duncan, runs up on it and gets out number 3. Roughriders got 2 runners on before the first out was recorded, but a double play puts them in danger, and Mason Pettingill just had the fly out to center field. When we come back, Tabor Stokes returns to the plate for the second time tonight, and C.J. Reed and Caleb Duncan will follow after him. We welcome you back to Larks Park to start the bottom half of the third inning. I'm Hank Corsair. Alongside me tonight is Eli Blankenship. Tabor Stokes returning to the plate for the second time tonight. And before we start the inning, I'll let Eli know that there is someone that said welcome back, Eli. Adam Babcock said that in the live chat.
Well, I appreciate that, Adam, and it's great to be back. It's good to be back here at Larks Park, and I wouldn't say this is my permanent home here in Hayes, but there's no place like home. It's been a relief to kind of get back in Hayes and to be back into my kind of circle here.
Put in play, fielded by the shortstop Brett Atkinson. Doesn't have a throw in time after the sliding play. Tabor Stokes, in his second appearance at the plate tonight, has the first hit of the inning.
And Stokes took off down the base paths. His helmet flew off in the process, and he made it there all the way to first base, ran through the bag just like you're supposed to, made it to first base, and that extra effort there, maybe that extra helmet flying off, might have propelled him just enough to get him there just by the hair of his chinny chin, and he'll have a leadoff single there for the Larks and a good start to the inning.
They didn't tell us tonight if who the beverage batter was, but I'm assuming it's Tabor Stokes because after he got that hit, a bunch of people got out of their seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have made a great error. The base hit was like Tabor Stokes, the 8th Street Liquor Beverage.
And there it is. Tabor Stokes is the 8th Street Liquor beverage batter tonight, so that's why the fans were getting out of their seats to get their discounted drinks. As Stokes' college teammate from Hutchinson and Butler, C.J. Reed, is up to bat, starting with an 0-1 count. Leaves that one inside for ball number 1. Larks will go back to the top of their order after this with Caleb Duncan, Lane Sparks, and Trent Baker. Reed was 3 for 5 against the Kansas Cannons and will now face a 2-1 count. For tonight, it's the batters batting near the bottom of the order that were the key for the Larks against the Cannons. You have Thomas Lissia, who went 3 for 4, and Tabor Stokes went 3 for 5, or excuse me, C.J. Reed went 3 for 5, and then Tabor Stokes returns to the lineup tonight as the Larks' leading hitter with 32.
That's what's so unique about this Larks team is anybody can be the person that's going to step up and make the play and have that hit. That's going to be a crucial hit to drive in a run. They have a roster and really a batting order that anybody can be the playmaker, so you just never know what you're going to get going into any inning.
There's 2 strikes in the count, and that'll be a foul ball. C.J. Reed stays alive, keeping the count at 2-2. Stokes has 16 stolen bases on the season, taking a big lead at first. And he will make the run down there as the pitch is on the way. He actually stopped during the windup. And will he slide in there safely? He will not, but C.J. Reed will be the new runner at first base.
And he hesitated for half a second because Cannon Frost kind of made a bit of a weird kick on his leg motion and his windup, and it kind of caught Stokes off guard, and so Stokes kind of hesitated on his jump. He stopped in it for like half of a second, and that half of a second made the difference between him getting to that second base safely or not, and unfortunately for the Larks, he's going to go down as an out and only a runner on first, so really didn't really do anything there except adding an out.
We'll see what Caleb Duncan does right here as the leadoff batter for the Larks. Up high for ball 1. He was hit by a pitch on an 0-1 count to start the game. In his 15th game of the season, he comes into tonight's game with a .378 average. Will now face a 1-1 count after swinging and missing at that last pitch from Cannon Frost. Left up there, tying the count up 2-1. That's the 7th game Cannon Frost has pitched in. He's done 19 innings of work. They're going to have to keep him in for as long as possible due to the limited number of players for the Roughriders. So far, he's been doing very well so far. It's going to be interesting to see how the Roughriders hold up in these close game situations, because usually it's they rely on scoring a lot of runs to win games this season. They've had 9 games where they've scored at least 10 runs, and they've won 6 of those.
Well, you mentioned to me before the game, we were talking about ERAs. I noticed I was looking at some of Hank's game notes that he prepared, and he didn't have any ERAs listed on their pitchers, and he said that their team ERA was over 10. So that's kind of a sore mark in terms of their statistics for this Roughriders team, and they have to score runs to be able to stay into ball games.
Up high there to Duncan, and it's a full count. They actually have 4 pitchers in their lineup that have an ERA of just 0, but the next lowest after that is Andy LaPearl, whose ERA is 6.46. So they need to keep the game as low scoring as possible to save arms for the rest of this 4-game series.
That makes you wonder how they're going to manage that, because if you have a 4-game series, we have 4 games here in the next 4 days. That's a lot of pitchers they've got to go through. So you wonder if they're going to reuse some pitchers, or if we might see Cannon Frost again on Sunday. We don't know. It probably just depends on how the series is going and where they're standing in terms of that.
Fouled off there by Duncan. That was the 8th pitch of the at-bat. And for the Roughriders, they need to win at least 3 games here in Hayes if they want to win the season series against the Larks, entering tonight at 2-1 against them. Larks, on the other hand, have after this they'll have 2 more series to go against Denver, 3 more, excuse me. Denver, Liberal, and Dodge City. They are 4-0 in their season series this year. This time Duncan fouls it off once again. It was very close to the third base bag, but it went to the left of the line.
Yeah, it didn't quite bounce in play. Almost did, just by a hair, bounced out of play. And so, count will remain full, and, man, Duncan has been battling here at the plate.
There have been 4 foul balls since he's been faced with 2 strikes. We're going to see who wants it more, and it was Cannon Frost swinging and missing. That is out number 2. Lane Sparks comes back to the plate for the 2nd time in tonight's game. Another batter that fought very hard on a full count in his first appearance. For him, he'll be trying to keep the inning alive with 2 outs. And C.J. Reed over at first base. Up high above the plate for ball 1 for the sophomore from Brenham, Texas. And Reed will make a run down to second base. That one went on the inside part of the plate. It's ball 2, and Sparks has a runner in scoring position to work with.
Yeah, Reed got a great jump on that play. He really read the ball well, read the windup well, jumped just at the perfect time. Right as he was about to kick his leg, Frost didn't even have time to step off the rubber and make that throw over there. So nice stolen base there for Reed.
Next one finds the zone. Sparks thought about taking a swing. The count is 2-1. Wouldn't surprise me if the game goes on if we see the Larks try to open it up more with their steal attempts around the base path. The Roughriders have, when you add in the one where they caught Thomas Lissy earlier tonight, they've only caught five guys stealing this entire season. Next one left inside for ball 3. Sparks has been walked 20 times this season. Frost deciding what he wants to throw. Here comes the 5th pitch of the at-bat. Popped up behind the press box. And another full count.
Thought that one was going to come down, and we're going to hear a loud bang on the roof there just a second ago. They've had some pretty high pop flies tonight.
We had quite a few of those last season. I don't think we've had any yet this year.
Must have taken the magnets out of the roof.
Here comes the payoff pitch with 2 outs, and Sparks will leave it outside. Runners at second and first for the Larks with 2 outs.
That was good discipline there from Sparks to hold back off that pitch. That's a pitch that's really hard to judge whether you swing at that or not. It's so close to the zone, and when you have a full count like that, personally, I'm swinging at that ball because it's just so close you can't tell, and you just never know. And so that was great discipline there from Sparks to leave that pitch, pick up the base, and now give the opportunity to Baker to make something happen here on the offensive side of things for the Larks.
The home run and RBI leader for this Larks team leaves the first one out there for ball one.
I think I've determined if Trent Baker doesn't hit a home run tonight, I think I need to go back to New Mexico and go backing again. I think that's the only logical thing to do. I think that's the only thing, because I think I'm his. That means I'm his bad luck charm if he doesn't hit a home run tonight.
Who knows? When I throw you the play-by-play for the next 3 innings, that's where the Larks usually score a lot of runs. So
I know. We'll
that's
see.
where we'll really find out.
We shall see.
Reed has already stolen 1 base this inning. Frost looks back at him, and this one gets away from the catcher. Now it's 2 runners in scoring position. Pass ball from the catcher, Gahan. And Trent Baker will be tied with a 2-1 count.
Well, if I'm Coach Leo, I really like that right there. That's a nice little gimme there for the Larks. Now you got 2 runners in scoring position. You got a guy on third, so a base hit scores anybody at this point. So you get at least 1 run here with a base hit. So all you're wanting Trent Baker to do here is just hit a base hit. That's all you need.
The pitch to untie the count, and it's strike 2. Been a couple games since we've seen Baker in the batting order. He's now got a 2-2 count. Keeps the inning alive, fouling that one off.
Baker's got a battle here, and for the Larks, it'd be really nice for them to be able to get on the board first. I think that can really set the tone here for the remainder of this game.
Gahan wants the pitch inside. Here it comes. That's ball 3.
Good take there from Baker. Full count now, and we've seen this many a time tonight from Cannon Frost. Lots of full counts. He's really been working the count on these batters, and the batters have been hanging in there with Cannon Frost, and so far the Larks have done a pretty nice job at reading the pitches he's throwing.
Baker's the 3rd batter in a row to face a full count. Here comes the payoff pitch, and the bases will be loaded for the cleanup batter, Jackson Babcock. He's had 1 grand slam this season. Babcock comes into this game with 4 home runs on the year, as well as 26 RBIs.
The first baseman, number 5, Jackson Babcock.
And this will be his 2nd appearance at the plate tonight. Infield playing back a little bit here for the Roughriders, especially on that first base side with LaPearl and Hamry.
Well, this is
put in play. The first baseman lost control, but it's picked up by the second baseman. He bobbles it, and with the air, the Larks have the first run of the game.
Well, would I have guessed that was the way the Larks were going to score their first run tonight? Absolutely not, but you'll take it. I mean, that's a run in the scoring column. They start off the scoring. Kind of got a little lucky there. I can't lie on first base, and but Jackson Babcock will take it. He's the guy you want at the plate when you have runners in scoring position, and really when you have anybody on the base paths, he's the guy you want up there, and he did his job. He got on base, and that's what matters.
He's kind of a power hitter. That's what that side of the infield was expecting, and this time they lose the ball once again. It went through the legs of LaPearl after he had it in his glove for a second. And Sparks scores this time, and Espinal's got the next RBI.
There it is, 2-0. Just like that, the Larks are up by 2 runs, and that is some nice cushion there for the Larks to give them a little bit more breathing room. I think they're going to kind of ease up. They'll have a little bit more relaxation for the rest of the night. I'm not saying that the ball game's over, but I think that now they can kind of loosen up a little bit, get into more of their groove and get into the flow of things.
And now we're going to see a mound meeting as the Roughriders coach, Chad Povic, will go out to the mound. And it's just a quick one. He's already out of there. Just focused on getting the final out, trying to save the arms. Looks like they trust Cannon Frost for the rest of this inning. He's got a team best 2-1 record on the year.
Well, and as we mentioned, pitching is going to be crucial for this Colorado Roughriders team. They've got to conserve their pitchers, so I think keeping Frost in here is probably a tactical move to really ensure the longevity of their pitchers for the remainder of this series.
Paul Smith up to bat, starting with a 1-0 count. The only batter who hasn't come up to the plate this inning is Thomas Lissy. He is on deck. And again, the right side of the infield playing close to the grass. The left side playing a little bit closer to the plate. Count is 2-0 now to the Rice Owl, Paul Smith. And we're going to get time called as the next pitch comes in.
Well, if they used pitch clocks in this league, that would have been a pitch clock violation. I think it's safe to say on that one.
We have one here at Larks Park for Fort Hays, but it's not in the NBC rules to use one because not every team has one, especially like down with the Kansas Cannons. You're playing at a high school field, and a lot of stadiums just don't have it in this league. 2-0 on the way. Curves into the zone. There is strike one to tie the count up.
I think at some point as pitch clocks become a little bit more standard, you'll see it a lot more and more, and I think eventually maybe the NBC might eventually have to institute that.
This one's a fly ball. The center fielder and the right field run in on it, and Stevens comes in from center field to make the catch for the final out. But the Larks take the first lead of the game, scoring C.J. Reed and Lane Sparks, and leaving the bases loaded at the end of the inning. We'll have the top of the fourth up next and see how the Roughriders respond. The Larks were able to take advantage of two errors in the prior inning against the Roughriders, taking the first lead at 2-0. As Aaron Kidd, the left fielder, will be the leadoff batter of the inning. Dalton Campbell is back to the mound. And since it's the fourth inning, I'm going to throw it over now to Eli Blankenship up until the sixth.
Well, I appreciate it, Hank. It's, like I said, it's good to be back here at Larks Park and good to be back behind the mic again. Campbell's first pitch of the inning is fouled away for strike number 1 on Aaron Kidd, the center fielder. Now the 0-1 pitch. That pitch outside for ball number 1. I don't actually believe that's Aaron Kidd. It looks like they may have a pinch hitter in right at the moment. That is number 33 for the Roughriders. That pitch swung on and missed. Count moved to 1-2. Number 33 is Aaron Kidd. I just didn't have his number written down correctly on my roster. Campbell keeping the tempo up here. A 2-2 count now on Kidd.
Just trying to work it all over the zone. Trying to find the strike zone, but also trying to put it on the outside, getting the Roughriders to swing. And right there, it's a looking strikeout.
Steve Reich, number 3 on Aaron Kidd. That'll go down looking for Aaron Kidd. That is the 3rd strikeout on the night for Dalton Campbell. And that'll bring up number 25, Matt Gahan, the catcher for the Roughriders. That one hit straight to Stokes. Stokes will field it cleanly, throw it over to Babcock, who makes a jumping catch and brings it down for out number 2.
The designated hitter, number 26, Marco Polizzi.
And that'll bring up number 26, the designated hitter, Marco Polizzi. He is on their roster as an outfielder out of Montoursville, Pennsylvania. The 0-1 pitch in there for strike number 2. And now it'll be a pitcher's count for Dalton Campbell.
Starting to get a good feel for the zone now. There's 2 strikes against a guy that he's already struck out tonight.
That pitch outside for ball 1. Campbell looking for his 4th strikeout of the night. Now the pitch. That one fouled down the third baseline. Goes into the Larks dugout. Count will stay at 1-2. Campbell kicks and deals. That one's hit straight up the gut in between Stokes and the second base. And that will be a base hit there for Marco Polizzi, the designated hitter.
Second baseman, number 2, Andrew LaPearl.
And that brings up number 2, Andy LaPearl, the second baseman for the Roughriders.
And I've already said it. I'm not trying to jinx it again, but this is the part of the lineup that's really sneaky good for the Roughriders against the Larks. They've gotten at least 1 runner on in every inning so far, and now they got a guy at first trying to keep the inning alive.
That first pitch is called dead as it is fouled out of play for LaPearl. Roughriders with the runner on first. 2 down here in the top of the 4th. Campbell gets the sign, kicks and deals. That pitch is a little high for ball number 1. Now 1-1 count. Swing and a miss. And he will hold Polizzi over there on first base. And the count will move to 1-2. Now the pitch. That one swung and hit into center field. Duncan will be there to field it. He will throw it over to Stokes, who will hold Polizzi over on second base. And that will bring up the top of the order for the Roughriders. It'll be Brett Atkinson, the shortstop.
And after that last play, LaPearl just got his 2nd hit of the game. It'll be interesting to see how the Larks adjust their outfield when he comes up again, because all those have been into the shallow part of the outfield.
They have, and that was exactly where he hit that last pitch as well. First pitch of the at-bat for Atkinson is outside for ball 1. Runners on first and second. 2 down here in the top of the 4th. Now the pitch. That pitch inside and finds the inside corner on Atkinson. Now 1-1 count. Duncan looks back to second. Now the pitch. Pitch high and away for ball 2.
Trying to keep it outside the zone. You got to expect Atkinson to want to get his first hit right here. He's had a fly out, and the last time he put the ball in play was a fielder's choice that ended the 2nd inning.
He almost did just that. That ball just goes, kind of dribbles foul down the 3rd baseline. Lissy was there to kind of track it down. He almost actually got a glove on it, even though it was going out of play. And I think Lissy's thankful that one went out of play, because that one had kind of some weird bounce on it that would have been really difficult to field. Now a 2-2 count on Atkinson. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Dalton Campbell with 4 strikeouts on the night. That'll do it for the top of the 4th. To the bottom of the 4th we go when we come back. Well, I'd like to wish a very, very special happy birthday to my mom back in Wichita. I don't know if she's tuned in. She might be. She also could be out at dinner with my dad. I don't know. But very happy birthday to my mom, Heather Blankenship, back in Wichita. Happy birthday to you, and I hope you have an amazing day, and maybe we can talk after the game is over. That pitch is popped up for Lissy. The ball goes out of play, but there to make the catch is Pettingill for the Roughriders. That'll be out number 1 to start the bottom of the 4th.
Tonight's A Street Liquor Beverage batter, the shortstop, number 6, Tabor Stokes.
That'll bring up Tabor Stokes, the shortstop for the Larks. He came through for the people here at Larks Park earlier. He's the 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter for tonight. So we got that hit, and we saw the entire stadium almost stand up. At least all the 21 pluses pretty much stood up, and it was all in unison. All kind of ran over to the beer garden and took advantage of that discount. That one hit straight up the gut. He'll do it again. Back-to-back 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter hits, that is, for Tabor Stokes. And that'll be a single, a one-out single to kind of start off the bottom of the 4th here for the Larks, see if they can get another rally going. scored 2 runs in the bottom of the third.
The second baseman, number 1, C.J. Reed.
And when the Larks scored those runs, the Roughriders, for them, they just did the one thing that they couldn't do. They've had some great play from their fielders tonight, but both of those runs were scored off errors when Babcock and Espinal were up to bat.
That first pitch outside on C.J. Reed for ball 1. Frost looks over to first base, comes set, deals, and it looks like he got underneath the tag. So Stokes is safe at second base. He will chalk another stolen base on the season.
And that one, it was a throw that looked like it could have had a chance, but Gahan just underthrew it a little bit in front of second base, and that's what gave Stokes the opportunity to get past it.
Frost fires. That one is hit way high and out of play. I don't exactly know what actually looked like. Oh, man, that was extremely close to my car. That might have hit the top of my car, actually. I really hope it didn't. And just tell insurance it was hail damage. Really, really big hail.
You might be able to get away with that. We have a severe thunderstorm watch tonight.
Exactly. A 1-2 count now on Reed. That one grounded to the third baseman, Pettingill. And Reed is not there in time, so that'll be out number 2 on the inning. Still one runner in scoring position here for the Larks, and that will bring up the top of the lineup, Caleb Duncan, the center fielder.
The Larks leadoff hitter, the center fielder, number 12, Caleb Duncan.
That one hit into center field. A line drive goes straight to Stevens, who makes the catch and retires the inning. To the top of the 5th we go when we come back. Well, it's the Tommy's Car Wash clean inning here at the top of the 5th. If the Larks get a 1-2-3 inning, free car washes from Tommy's Car Wash here in Hayes, and that's a pretty good deal. I mean, Tommy's Car Wash has got a pretty good car wash, and, man, I might have to go over there tomorrow if they get a 1-2-3 inning here. I'm hoping.
Hate to tell you, but you should have bought a raffle ticket. That's the...
Oh, man. Wasn't paying attention. Well, Hunter Stevens will lead it off here for the Roughriders, the center fielder. And he'll start off the count 1-1.
It's another batter where Campbell's going to have to work the ball around the zone. He's gotten a double and a single so far tonight.
That pitch is in there for strike number 2. Found the outside corner. And that'll be a pitcher's count now in favor of Dalton Campbell. Campbell kicks and deals. That one is outside for ball 2. The wind has seemed to kind of die down and the clouds have kind of dissipated, so that's good news. I see some angry-looking clouds there in center field as Stevens pops one up. And, wow, oh, he dropped it. It looked like he was there to make the play, and there was 3 of them there in the outfield. And kind of a little bit of miscommunication, and I think the ball kind of caught a little bit of wind in the air or something, had some weird spin on it, and he couldn't quite get underneath the ball and didn't make the catch. That was Tabor Stokes there, the shortstop, who kind of ran back and tracked that one down and just couldn't quite hold on to it. It's almost like he didn't get under the ball the way he thought he did, and the wind kind of caught it up there. You never know. The wind sometimes is stronger up higher in the air than it is when you're lower down to the ground, so Stokes may not have been able to anticipate that.
It's also difficult when you have everybody bunched up right there. You had Duncan coming in from center field, Sparks from left field, and Stokes backpedaling to get it.
Right, exactly. You kind of have a we call it, I was a soccer player back in the day, and that's what we call bunch ball. You're playing bunch ball. You got to spread out. You got to give everybody space. And so same concept applies here. If you get too many cooks in the kitchen there, that's a tough play to make for anyone. So that's Jake Willerup, the right fielder, up to the plate now for the Roughriders. 1-1 count on him. That pitch high and outside will come in there for ball 2. One runner in scoring position here for the Roughriders. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th. That one hit straight up the gut, right over Campbell. It just kind of took a little bit of a short hop over Campbell, and it looks like he is going to be safe at the plate. Man, I didn't think he was going to go there. They sent him home. It was Hunter Stevens who rounded third base. I thought for sure he would stay on third with no outs.
Well, by the time he got to third base, Duncan hadn't fielded it yet. But, again, we see his arm strength right there. He didn't even need to use the cutoff man. Paul Smith just couldn't field it in time. But then again, it would have been really close at the plate.
Yeah, that was it was a close play at the plate no matter what. The ball kind of got out of the hands of Paul Smith, but that will put them a little bit closer to this Larks lead now as they are trailing by a score of 2-1. With a one runner in scoring position, that one is hit down the first baseline, and it is fielded by Jackson Babcock, who makes the play at first for out number 1. That will progress the runner on second, Jake Willerup, to third base, and it will bring up Mason Pettingill, the third baseman.
The Roughriders' key to victory from this point on is they need to get Willerup home from third, and then throughout the rest of the game, you can't have any more fielding mistakes because that's how the Larks scored those 2 runs.
First pitch on Pettingill, just a hair outside for ball number 1. Now the 1-0 pitch. And that will hit Pettingill, and he will take his base. So now with runners on first and third, that will bring up Aaron Kidd, the center fielder. It almost looked like Jackson Babcock was anticipating a bunt there. He was looking like he was getting ready to charge the ball from first base. So I don't know if maybe the bunt sign is on for the Roughriders or not. Looks like that will be a mound meeting and quite possibly might be the end of Dalton Campbell's outing here today.
Brooks Jones is currently warming up right now, but I don't know if you'd want to keep Campbell in for the rest of this inning. He's been doing good so far, and
I don't see anybody there on the edge of the gate, so I think they're going to keep Campbell in. They may give him at least another batter or two. See if he can't get out of this inning and try to conserve their pitchers until the next inning. Looks like they'll do just that. Campbell will stay on the mound, and he will try to add to his total of 4 strikeouts on the night. So with runners on first and third, that'll bring up Aaron Kidd, the center fielder. Only 1 out for the Roughriders. Kidd can hit one deep into the outfield and score a run here. Their only run of the night coming here in the top of the 5th inning. That one hit out of play into the parking lot of doom, and that will bring the count, I should say, to 0-1. Now the pitch. That one fouled away, and did it move our camera? It did not.
Just shook it, but it's going to stay in place.
Man, our camera has been resilient tonight. So now an 0-2 count on Aaron Kidd will be kind of a sticky situation here for him, and looking quite favorable here for Dalton Campbell as he is really in control of this count now. Campbell couldn't quite find the zone on that pitch. It looked really close.
I wonder if it was that slight glove movement by Smith that made that a ball trying to frame it.
It's very possible. Now the 1-2 pitch. That one fouled way out of play over the Roughriders dugout. Count will stay at 1-2. That pitch from Campbell outside for ball 2, and now count is 2 apiece. Campbell, the left-handed pitcher, looks to first base. That pitch outside for ball 3, and now it'll be a full count. It's a crucial count here for Campbell. Could make or break whether or not someone scores this inning. That pitch inside for ball 4, and that'll be a base on balls for Aaron Kidd, and it'll load the bases and bring up number 25, Matt Gahan, the catcher.
It's the second time Aaron Kidd's gotten on base tonight, and in all those he's been working the count really well. 8 pitches in the first at-bat, 5 in the last one where he struck out, and he walks once again on a 7-pitch at-bat.
Gahan, a .210 hitter on the season. He'll foul that first pitch away. Got 12 RBIs so far on the season. Only 2 home runs. He'll start out his count 0-1. That pitch is going to be on the inside corner for strike 2, so an 0-2 count. And just like the last at-bat, Dalton Campbell will start this one out at an 0-2 count. Campbell kicks and deals. That one is outside for ball 1.
Roughriders need to take advantage right here. The bases loaded entering this inning. They've left a total of 6 runners on the bases tonight.
1-2 pitch from Campbell is hit foul. And it'll actually hit the light. Wow, that was something. I can't say I've seen that one either. That's 2 crazy collisions there tonight that I've seen. That one kind of ricocheted off the by the light pole in the Roughriders bullpen.
It's 3 times the pole's been hit tonight. We've had 2 behind home plate and then the light pole right there.
1-2 pitch from Campbell is fouled away, and that seems like got to be at least the 5th foul ball here in this count. I've lost track. I'm going to start running out of baseballs here in a second.
Luckily, there's a lot of kids that want $1, so they'll run down, get the ball, give it over to the Larks nest.
1-2 pitch once again is way outside. Covering home plate is Campbell, and Smith couldn't quite get the ball out of his hands in time, and that will tie up the ball game at 2 apiece, and will advance the runners to second and third with just 1 out. And that's going to sting a little bit if you are a Hayes Lark, as now the game is tied up just like that, and this might conclude Dalton Campbell's day, and it looks like it will. So we will step aside here until the next pitcher is warmed up. Well, we welcome you back here to Larks Park. Into the ball game now for the Larks is Brooks Jones, the left-handed pitcher from Hutchinson Community College out of Lawrence, Kansas. And he's played in 6 games so far for the Larks this season on a 3.86 ERA. Only allowed 13 hits so far. Dalton Campbell's night comes to a close with 4 strikeouts and 4 1/3 innings pitched on 2 runs and 3 hits. Two-two pitch is there for strike number 3. A nice looking pitch there to start the day for Brooks Jones. That'll be his first strikeout of the night. I think I'll give half of a strikeout there to Dalton Campbell on that one, as he certainly got him there. Got him got him the first 2 strikes, and Jones took care of that last one.
And that's what I was wondering, if it was going to carry over for Brooks Jones from his last game, which was Game 3 down in Colorado, where he was the pitcher that really picked things up in the game and helped the Larks complete that comeback against the Angels. In 4 1/3 innings of work in that game, he had 10 strikeouts and did a phenomenal job until the closer, Lane Sparks, came in.
He's got 30 strikeouts on the season, so that was strikeout number 31. So pretty nice mark for Brooks this season so far. And in the 6 games played, I guess this is number 7 now with number 31, but he's right on track with Dalton Campbell, who's played in a couple more games than he has. An 0-2 count now. That ball hit out of play by Polizzi, the designated hitter for the Roughriders.
He's had 2 strikes in every appearance so far. He's 1 for 2 on the night.
Jones kicks and deals here in a second. Now he kicks and deals. That is strike number 3. Jones takes care of business. He means business tonight. 2 strikeouts to start the outing for him, and we'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Well, it'll be Frost still on the mound for the Roughriders. It's Cannon Frost who has so far pitched a pretty nice outing for the Roughriders on 2 strikeouts. Only 2 runs allowed on 5 hits and 2 errors.
We'll see how much longer they keep him in. The Roughriders just sent a guy over there. That's Ryan Silva Valadez, the freshman from Littleton, Colorado.
And leading off for the Larks will be the left fielder, Lane Sparks, who takes that one in there for strike 1.
And they're keeping Frost in the game because of the work that he's done so far. And I said it already in this broadcast. I'll say it again. Both of those runs that the Larks scored were because of fielding errors.
They were. Those 2 errors quite literally attributed to those 2 runs that the Larks have tonight. And so far, Frost has had a pretty nice outing, all things considered. This Roughriders team isn't known for their pitching by any means. We talked about that early in the game about how their ERA is over 10 as a team. And so far tonight, they've kept the Larks at bay, which is pretty surprising considering this Larks is a very high offensive team. That one hit into left center field. Tracking it down is Stevens, and he makes the play. And what looked like a promising a little knock there from Sparks, it turns into an out. So out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th will bring up number 2, Trent Baker, the designated hitter for the Larks tonight.
It feels like he's playing center field. He's been everywhere in the outfield tonight. All those balls that go right center or left center, he's the one that's there to make the play.
He really is. Stevens has done a nice job at covering a lot of the outfield tonight. You said it best, and he has pretty good speed on him, all things considered. Those outfilders, they've got to be quick, especially in a college ballpark like this where the length of the stadium is almost pretty much a full length. I mean, it is a full length field, but it's not quite a major league park, but it's pretty much there. It's not a Kauffman Stadium by any means, one of the largest ballparks and at least one of the largest outfields in all of Major League Baseball, but still certainly got to have good wheels on you to be able to cover that much ground. A little bit of conversing here on the mound with pitcher Cannon Frost. And looks like that is LaPearl, the second baseman. Cahan will return behind the dish. the right-handed batter, Trent Baker, will start his at-bat. That one swung on a miss, goes above the press box and into the parking lot of doom. He'll start his count 0-1. Correction, that is 1-1. That pitch kind of gets away from catcher Gahan. Be a 2-1 count on Trent Baker. Baker so far hitting .316 on the season. On 24 hits, 6 home runs. You mentioned he's on a home run hitting streak. That is 5 games right now. He's on a 5-game home run hitting streak. I told the folks back at home, if he doesn't hit one tonight, I think it's my sign. I have to go back to New Mexico and go on another backpacking trip. So we'll have to see if Baker wants me around or not after this game. 34 RBIs though on the season. He's had a pretty good season so far for the Larks. He'll take that pitch for ball 4, and he'll take a base on balls with 1 out.
As he's trying to get the hit, he's waiting for the right pitch, but nothing wrong with getting walked twice tonight, especially in a close game like this.
Without a doubt, he'll take anything you can get here in a game that's as close as this is so far. That'll bring up number 5, the first baseman, Jackson Babcock. The freshman at Colorado School of Mines, native to League City, Texas. Baker thought about going on that pitch. He at least got a little bit of a jump. Pitch is in there for strike 1 on Babcock. Now the 0-1 pitch from Frost. Frost looks to pick off Baker. He'll hold him on first base. Baker dives back in safely. Baker takes one more look over to first base. Now the pitch. That one really inside, and I think it clipped him. No, it didn't. And now Baker's going to be caught in a pickle. He's coming in hot. He's there. Baker is safe at third and looks like may have gotten tagged by the third baseman, Pettingill. A little slow to get up there. Maybe got the wind knocked out of him or something. It's positive that he stood up on his own. Larks faithful giving him a round of applause. It looks like he is A-OK from the looks of it. That is positive for the Larks faithful, as Trent Baker is such an integral piece to this Larks team so far this season.
Wasn't even. I don't think he was. Well, he was intending to go to third, but I think he realized that he couldn't, and he slid and fell when he was halfway down second base, and he didn't have a choice. He just had to run to third. But again, Larks take advantage of the mistake.
The 2-1 pitch on Babcock will drive in Trent Baker, who was a little slow to get up there on third base, but nonetheless is able to come on in and score the 3rd run of the night for the Larks, putting the Larks back on top 3-2. That'll be out number 2, with the bases now completely vacant.
And Babcock's got 2 RBIs now on the night.
That is RBI number 28 on the season for Jackson Babcock. That brings up Espinal, who will ground the ball to LaPearl, who makes the play at first and retires the inning. To the top of the 6th we go. Larks score 1 and are on top 3-2. Well, we welcome you back to Larks Park here in Hays, Kansas, home of both the Hays Larks and the Fort Hays State Tigers. And still on the mound for the Larks will be Brooks Jones. That first pitch in there for strike one on second baseman Andy LaPearl. The 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed. LaPearl doesn't look too happy about that one there, and an 0-2 count on LaPearl. LaPearl is going to have to protect the plate.
It looks like the Larks did make a small adjustment. It's the right fielder and the center fielder that are playing a little bit closer because LaPearl had those last two hits in the shallow outfield.
That pitch from Jones outside for ball one. I think you're absolutely right, and LaPearl has had a pretty nice night so far for the Roughriders. See if you can continue that here in this at-bat. That pitch inside for ball two. Jones kicks and deals. That one hit foul down the third baseline. Count will remain at 2-2. Jones comes set. Fires a 2-2 pitch across the plate. That one is grounded to C.J. Reed, who makes the throw and makes the play for out number one.
The shortstop, number 13, Brett Atkinson.
That'll bring up the top of the order for the Roughriders. It'll be number 13, Brett Atkinson, the shortstop. First pitch hit right up the gut. C.J. Reed is just shy of making that play. He almost got there. That is a tough ball to field. He was on the run. Didn't have much of a chance to make the play anyways. Reed gave himself a chance, just couldn't quite get his glove around it. He had so much momentum going into that ball. It was just so hard to make that play. That is like trying to thread just something just right through a little tiny gap, and then Reed just couldn't quite time it quite right, and so that'll be a base hit there for Brett Atkinson. Brings up Hunter Stevens, the center fielder for the Roughriders. One out and a runner on first. That ball is in there for strike number one. Stevens, the redshirt sophomore for the Division II school Millersville, out of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Haven't heard of Chambersburg. That's a new one.
Yeah, they have two guys on their team from Millersville. Both are from Pennsylvania.
The 1-1 pitch is hit to third baseman Lissy, who makes the double play. From Reed over to Babcock to retire the side. To the bottom of the sixth we go. We'll see if the Larks can keep up the momentum here going into the bottom of the sixth.
Leading off the sixth inning for the Larks, the catcher, number 25, Paul Smith.
Well, welcome to the bottom of the sixth inning here at Larks Park, and leading off for the Larks will be catcher Paul Smith. That first pitch outside for ball one. That hit high and deep into center field, and there to make the play is Stevens for out number one.
The third baseman, number 15, Thomas Lissy.
So that'll bring up Thomas Lissy, the third baseman for the Larks. Something to note is Cannon Frost is still out on the mound there for the Roughriders. He's had a pretty nice outing so far. Only 2 runs allowed in 5 1/3 innings pitched so far. So a pretty nice night for Frost, all things considered.
And keep in mind, those first 2 runs were not earned, so they're going to trust the fielders for the remainder of this game. There is a guy warming up right now, I believe. That is number 10, Ryan Silva Valadez.
I believe I misspoke. I think 3 runs is what I meant to say, not 2. But 2-0 pitch from Frost is in there for strike one. Thomas Lissy, a .370 hitter on the season, on 27 hits and 19 RBIs. That one is popped up way out of play near the Roughriders bullpen. And that will bring the count to 2-2. Lissy eagerly awaits the pitch. Frost kicks and deals. That one goes out of play once again. And Frost has really done a nice job tonight at really kind of working these batters and really working the count. He hasn't gotten in too much of a hurry. He's really taken his time, tried to find his pitch, and tried to really move the batters around and keep them guessing. 2-2 pitch, can't quite find the outside corner. And that'll move the count to a full count. Payoff pitch is struck hard into right field. That is out of play. And that was absolutely crushed. I mean, that came off the bat like a rocket for Thomas Lissy. I blinked, and the ball was already in the outfield. Count remains at a full count. Payoff pitch number 2 on the way from Frost. That one popped up. Tracking back is Pettingill. Pettingill makes the play after kind of losing his footing there. And that will be out number 2 here in the bottom of the 6th.
A lot of hang time on that one. It was all the fielders from the left side. If you divide from home plate to the pitching mound and onward, just about everybody was going that way. And foul territory, the third baseman was just there to make it.
Everybody was tracking that ball, and I think it gets kind of hard at this time of night when the wind becomes a little bit more gusty as opposed to being a constant wind, because it makes it even more unpredictable. You don't know when the ball's going to do all sorts of crazy stuff. That one struck into far right center field, and running into the fence was a right fielder, Willerup, who took a really hard blow from the fence.
And there was a lot of frustration after that play. That was a huge collision with the fence and just couldn't hold on to it till the very end.
He almost had that ball. I mean, I thought for sure that was in his mitt, and he's pretty upset that he didn't quite get to that ball. And I think the umpire is checking on him, making sure he's all right. Looks like he didn't have his hat on. His hat may have fell into the bullpen over there. So Willerup has reacquired his hat. And it looks like the
And it doesn't matter who you're a fan of. If you're a Larks fan or a Roughriders fan, you got to give him a lot of credit. He was sprinting to the wall there, and just because of how hard that collision was, that's basically what jarred the ball free.
Well, and you can hear Larks faithful here clapping, and that's rightfully so. I mean, that's putting your body on the line there for a play like that. That's not an easy hit to take from the fence. I mean, that was a very, very difficult play to make in a not a easy thing to just take straight on, as that will be Tabor Stokes, who finds his way to first base. And that is the third hit for the 8th Street Liquor beverage batter on the night. And the Larks faithful pretty happy about that. And I see a few more fans going back down to the beer garden to take advantage of that discount. So still no home run from Stokes, though. We'll see. I'm hoping I'm seeing a home run out of him tonight. First pitch on C.J. Reed comes in there for ball one. That pitch finds the outside corner for strike one. Count moves to 1-1. That one struck right in between the second baseman and first baseman of LaPearl and Hamry. And Stokes will find his way to third base, and Reed will mark himself down for a single.
And that was because the right fielder, Willerup, didn't pick it up in time. He kind of just waited a second. By the time he was doing that, Stokes was at second, and I think Coach Luton was calling for him to run to third, and he was there in plenty of time.
And that's a prime example of head-up base running. You got to keep your eyes up, and you got to be paying attention to your third base coach in a situation like that. And it was a great job from Stokes to be able to see his third base coach and make that decision to go ahead and go all the way to third. And that could end up making the difference here for the Larks here in this inning, and potentially getting another run on the board with there being 2 outs. All you need is a base hit to drive in Stokes.
And they're going to keep Frost in the game. The guy in the bullpen was standing in front of the gate, but he will go back to do some more practice.
I kind of wondered if we were going to see Frost to get pulled here after that, but they're going to keep him in. He's had a good outing so far. Only allowed 3 runs in the 5 2/3 inning that he's pitched. Three runs on 5 hits and 3 errors. That brings the top of the line for the Larks. Duncan will drive that one into right field, and there to make the play is Willerup to retire the inning. We're going to turn it back over to Hank when we get back here in the top of the 7th inning. Stay tuned here on the Larks Network. Well, we welcome you back to Larks Park. We're going to turn it over to Hank for the remainder of the game. Hank, over to you.
Thank you, Eli. Good job in those last 3 innings. It was like you never left for New Mexico. But to start the 7th inning, Brooks Jones is back to the mound. Jake Willerup is the batter for the Roughriders. Started 0 for 1, had an RBI double in his last at-bat. Jones doing a good job finding the strike zone so far. He does it right there, moving the count to 1-1. As the Roughriders need to put some runs together, they got Mark Hamry on deck and Mason Pettingill in the hole. This one swung on and high up into the air. And Thomas Lissy gets under it. There is the first out of the inning. There's some Larks fans that were blown away there by how high that one went. It went out of our field of vision.
I couldn't see it. It went over the overhang for us, so we couldn't. Once it went up that high, I was just like, I don't know how high that ball went up. It must have gone up a ways though, because it sure hung up there for a while.
So Mark Hamry returns to the plate. He'll put this one in play, and it will be called foul as Thomas Lissy fields another one. Hamry's put the ball in play 3 times tonight, looking for his first hit. All of his have been ground outs tonight. The sophomore from Arvada, Colorado, that played at Scottsdale Community College down in Arizona. Actually played some JUCO down here in Kansas before he went to Scottsdale. He played at Butler, where he played in 25 games as a freshman. 1-1, he fouls off.
I see some lightning over those clouds that are hanging over right field. Just something to note. So,
trying to remember what I saw in the forecast earlier. I want to say that it was coming from Colorado, so we might have our first rain delay of the season, or lightning delay of the season.
I think it's still a little ways out, but we will have to wait and see here.
Brooks Jones gets the strikeout right here, the second out of the inning. And for him, it's his second strikeout of the day.
Yeah, and we, after fact-checking and appreciating the comment from our commenter here in our comment section, we did confirm that first strikeout there from Brooks Jones was actually a strikeout credited to Dalton Campbell, as Dalton Campbell did have the first 2 strikes of the at-bat. And so that is strikeout number 2, as you said, for Brooks Jones.
So the home plate umpire just had a conversation with Frank Leo. I wonder if that has anything to do with the lightning. They're going to probably try to finish this inning and just see what happens from that point on.
I mean, theoretically, they could agree to play 7. I don't know if that's if they can do that. I don't know all the technicalities there.
That one is line foul for the first strike.
Because if they play a rain delay and it continues to rain for the remainder of the night, then they're going to push it off and they're going to have to schedule it to start early tomorrow, and then you'd have to have because you have a hole. I mean, it would just throw off the rest of the series. So there's a lot of what ifs, I think, there. So I think that I would imagine, because it is a 4-game series, you would think that they would just want to continue to just settle the game, or I don't know how they would play that. That is a wait and see.
Jones looks for the final out, delivers the 0-2, and he gets it. A swing and a miss for out number 3. He's got 3 strikeouts on the night, and the Larks still have the 3-2 lead. When we come back, Lane Sparks, Trent Baker, and Jackson Babcock will be up next. We start the bottom half of the 7th inning. Larks ahead 3-2 over the Roughriders, and Lane Sparks is up to bat. They'll start with a 1-0 count. Sparks will now face a 2-0 count. As Eli said in that last inning, there was some lightning off in the distance. Looking at the weather report, they did move up the possibility of rain arriving at 10 p.m., although it was originally at 11 p.m. And now that I'm looking at it, they just moved it back again. So it's going to be unpredictable for the rest of the night.
It's unpredictable when you live in Kansas. What do you expect? It's you can experience all 4 seasons in one day here in Kansas, and especially in western Kansas, it's even more unpredictable, I've found.
And 4 pitches there to start the inning for Dalton Campbell. He will head down to first base as he is walked for the 2nd time tonight.
I actually found out on my trip in New Mexico, this is a bit of a sidebar, this is about rain. This is about weather-related things.
Okay.
I found out it can rain with blue skies, apparently. In the mountains, I guess. I guess it's a little bit different when you're in the mountains, but it can rain with blue skies. So it can rain anytime, so you just never know. I would say that you could characterize Kansas weather almost like the weather of the mountains. It's very unpredictable, so we'll just kind of see how it plays out.
Yeah, we've had a couple times if you live out here, you've seen during the day where the sun will be out and it's raining, so I get what you're saying. And now, finally, we have our first pitching change of the night for the Roughriders after the walk to Lane Sparks. We will see who that is when we come back. It took until the start of the 7th inning for the Roughriders to make a change, and the new pitcher into the game now is the freshman from Littleton, Colorado, who I believe is the only player on the Roughriders roster that's listed as undecided. It is Ryan Silva Valadez for his 8th appearance on the mound this season. He's got a 1-0 record, pitched in 14 and a third innings so far. Trying to hold the Larks in place right here as the Roughriders try to complete the comeback.
Well, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Frost had a heck of an outing. I mean, you can't ask more from a starting pitcher. 6 innings pitched on 3 runs and 5 hits. I mean, that's a pretty incredible outing for Frost, all things considered, especially because the Roughriders really aren't known for their pitching. And so an outing like that for Frost is really crucial to the Roughriders even being in this ballgame right now.
First pitch to Trent Baker. Lets it go by, and Lane Sparks does it again, stealing second base. Next pitch gets delivered, swing and a miss. That's a foul tip, correction. Count is listed on the scoreboard as 0-2. See if Baker can advance Sparks at second base. He's already crossed the plate once tonight. He was the second run of tonight's game. The 0-2 to Baker. Rolls away. And on the first ball, Sparks heads to third, and now he's going to try to head home. There is a cover at home, and he's safe. He got under the tag, and the fourth run of the game is scored by the Larks. Lane Sparks came all the way from second, was able to steal third, and because the ball got away from the catcher, that gave him just enough time to slide home, avoid the tag, and give the Larks a 2-run lead.
Well, good old Sparky coming in and just lighting up the base paths like he does best. Sparky took off from second base, and he had no stop in him. He watched his third base coach. He waved him on. He rounded third base and got right underneath that tag. He knew Sparks had the wheels on him to get there, and he did just that.
It's now 15 games on the year where he's stolen at least one base. With no outs, the count is 1-2 to Trent Baker. He'll put this one in play, rolling down the third base line. Pettingill picks it up, throws it on the run, and there's out number one. Very close play, but they'll call Baker out there. It was a very slow roller, so that's what gave him the chance when Pettingill picked it up. Just wasn't able to get to the bag in time. So now coming up is Jackson Babcock. Eli just showed me his phone with a weather radar. It is getting a little bit closer here to Larks Park, so if this game goes quick enough, we should be able to get all 9 innings in, but it's going to be tough to tell.
It's going to be close. I think they can do it if they keep this pace up that they're going at, but it's going to be tight. The rain is coming, and it is a lot closer than I was thinking it was going to be, so.
Next pitch goes outside, finds the zone. Babcock will face a 1-1 count. He has put the ball in play all 3 times tonight. He's got 2 RBIs on the night. He has reached base once. Pitch on the way, another one outside. Moves the count to 2-1. This one will go over the head of the shortstop Atkinson. Tried making a jumping catch for it, couldn't get it. And Babcock is on base for the second time tonight.
Atkinson timed his jump perfectly. He almost got up to that ball. He really jumped pretty high for that ball, and Babcock just slipped it over his head, and nice base hit there for Babcock. We'll get another duck on the base paths for Espinal now.
So we'll see what Wilbert Espinal does right here. The Alabama State Hornet in his 3rd game with the Larks. Just arrived with the team when the Larks were down in Colorado before playing their final game against the Game Day Angels. That is when he flew into Denver International Airport, and he was able to watch that final game and ride back with the team, getting back to Hayes at 4:30 a.m.
I'm sure he was exhausted after that. That was a bit of a marathon there for him. Talk about some serious jet lag there.
This one is drilled deep into right field. Running back for it is Willerup. This one's going to take a bounce off the 8th Street Liquor advertisement. Espinal will get into second base. Their cutoff was there, but no one was covering second. And the Larks have 2 runners in scoring position. Babcock moves over to third. And Espinal has at least 1 hit now in every game that he's played in this season.
Well, heck of a drive there for Espinal. He really took that one for a ride, squared that ball up, pulled it into right field, and just absolutely drilled that ball. That ball came right off the sweet spot and put the ball right where he wanted it. Espinal reaches second on that one, and he'll advance his runner, Babcock. So now 2 runners in scoring position for the Larks here. They've got a pretty good opportunity to extend their lead.
Paul Smith, the junior from Flower Mound, Texas, now up to bat. Try to extend the Larks' lead.
Smith has 9 RBIs on the season. Certainly not a stranger to a situation like this.
That one takes a bounce, rolls just a short distance away from Matt Gahan. It starts the count off 1-0. It was going to be interesting to see throughout this game how Smith would respond to his return to the lineup after pitching 2 innings of down in Augusta against the Kansas Cannons. And here he puts it in play. It's fielded by the shortstop, goes off his glove. 1 run is in. Espinal will round third. He's going to score as well. A 2 RBI score there from Paul Smith on an error.
Well, Paul Smith has had 5 hits in his last 2 games, and he's had a pretty nice hot streak here going. And there, right there, although it is an error, it'll go down as an error. He still drove the runs in, whether no matter how you look at it. So that's a pretty nice little knock there for Smith, and he'll drive him in. And looks like they'll put in Brady Kreitzer here for the Larks. Maybe try to get a little bit more offense going.
That last game against the Cannons was his first return since the Larks went on the trip to Colorado. He had a strong performance against the Cannons. Looking at Kreitzer in that game, he had a single and a home run. And he's going to slide into second safely. The tag was there in time, but Atkinson couldn't hold on to the ball. And Thomas Lissy will start with an 0-1 count with Kreitzer over at second base.
And it just seems like Atkinson and LaPearl both tonight have really struggled to hold on to the baseball. And Atkinson, I think, is a little bit in his head at this point, because that's 2 or 3 times now that I can count that he's kind of had a miscue there at shortstop.
Outside for ball 1 to Thomas Lissy. He is 1 for 3 on the night. Kreitzer takes a lead at second, pitch on the way. Half-hearted swing. And I believe that was called a foul ball.
It's interesting because the infield umpire signaled that he didn't swing, but I think, okay, yeah, that was definitely called foul ball.
Count is now 1-2 to the Incarnate Word Cardinal and former Houston Cougar. Looking back at second once again. Here comes the 1-2. Rolls away from the catcher, and Kreitzer will get to third.
And Kreitzer's got wheels on him, and he's no stranger to really majority of levels of baseball. He's played at pretty much every level outside of a professional level. He's got, he's played here at this club level. He's got, a lot of college experience under his belt, and so he really has great sense of field awareness. And so he sees a pass ball like that, and he knows he can get there.
Half-hearted swing, and they will say Lissy didn't go around, so that'll lead to a full count.
I thought that might have come off his hands there or something. I thought he made he may have tipped the ball, but evidently he did not in that particular scenario. And now with a full count, Lissy's going to have to continue to protect the plate here.
We've seen it before tonight. Lissy fighting hard at the plate. Payoff pitch is delivered and misses on the inside for ball number 4, and Lissy is on base for the second time in tonight's game. With 1 out, the Larks have runners at the corners. They've scored 3 runs this inning, trying to score some more. And coming up to bat is Tabor Stokes, who has 3 hits on the night.
He's had a heck of an outing tonight, and he's really delivered for the Larks fans here at Larks Park. He's the 8th Street Liquor beverage batter for the night.
First pitch is fouled out of play. Starting the count 0-1. Just like every single at-bat tonight for Tabor Stokes, he starts with an 0-1 count. We'll see if history repeats itself. He's got 3 base hits tonight.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this movie before. I don't know where I've seen it, but I feel like I've seen it somewhere.
Some more lightning strikes beyond the outfield. And a throw back to first base. Getting back safely is Thomas Lissy. Stokes will take his time, awaiting the pitch from the freshman from Littleton, Colorado, Ryan Silva Valadez. Taking a bounce, that one gets away from him, but luckily for him, it's going to roll into the infield, keeping Brady Kreitzer over at third base. He is the courtesy runner for Paul Smith. Low it inside, ties the count up to Tabor Stokes.
Well, I just checked the radar once again, and it's very close now. Like, I think we're going to get rain here in the next 5-10 minutes.
And in most sports with lightning delays, it's got to be within 10 miles of the stadium. So I'm not sure how far it is now. But
I think we're at that point already. I think we're at that point. I think they're going to probably end up calling it here pretty soon.
It is 19 miles away from the ballpark is what I was just told. So we'll see how fast it moves for the rest of the night. Missing inside. Stokes had to move out of the way just a little bit. He'll face a 3-1 count. That one finds the strike zone on the low inside corner to Stokes. And after his first 3 at-bats for an 0-1 count, this one will be a full count. There was some Larks fans just yelling at him, saying they want to hit so that they can get some more discounted drinks. Payoff pitch is high and inside, and for the 4th time tonight, Stokes gets on base with his first walk of the night and 11th of the season. The bases are loaded, and C.J. Reed is up to bat.
This could be trouble for the Roughriders. The Roughriders may start having a rougher ride than they've been having tonight. And bases loaded with 1 out. This is looking like something may be brewing here for the Larks.
Reed will let the first pitch go by for strike 1. The sophomore, who's originally from Colorado Springs, works with the bases loaded. Brady Kreitzer is at third, Thomas Lissy is at second, Tabor Stokes at first. He will foul this one off, rolling slowly down the first base line. He will now face an 0-2 count. Reed is the 8th batter to come up to the plate this inning. The 9th and final batter who hasn't seen action this inning is Caleb Duncan on deck.
Reed has yet to drive 1 yard this season.
It'd be big if he does it right here.
It would be. He's got a .407 slugging percentage and averages .309 on the season.
He'll leave that one outside for ball 1.
He's soon to be playing at Ohio State after completing his sophomore season at Hutchinson Community College.
And a foul tip out there leads to out number 2. As the Roughriders have given up 3 runs this inning, trying to keep the bases loaded and give themselves a chance, though. The thing that's hard for them, though, is that they've had some trouble getting the ball in play. And with the weather, we've played 7 innings tonight. That's not in their favor either.
Certainly not in their favor. And top of the line now for the Larks. This could be trouble. They're not in the clear yet. And if Duncan can drive some runs in here and really give them some insurance, I think that they'd be pretty much guaranteed they would call the game if Lightning were to come in.
It is ball 1 to the Goodyear, Arizona native Caleb Duncan. Another look back at second base from the pitcher. And this one is fouled off for the first strike of the at-bat. Duncan's trying to get on base for the second time tonight. His first one was back in the first inning as the leadoff batter. He was hit by a pitch.
Well, this has been the highest scoring inning for the Larks so far with 3 runs this inning. And it was really Frost that kept them in the ball game.
This one's driven deep into center field, but once again, Steven shows up again and gets the final out of the inning. But the Larks do score 3 in that inning. Lane Sparks, Jackson Babcock, and Wilbert Espinal all scored. And now the Larks have the 6-2 lead going into the top of the 8th inning. We will see how the Roughriders respond when we come back. In that prior inning, the Larks scored 3 runs on 2 hits and took advantage of 1 error committed by the Roughriders and lead 6-2 as Brooks Jones returns to the mound to face off against Aaron Kidd, Matt Gahan, and Marco Polizzi. First pitch of the inning is a swing and a miss. And Brooks Jones again putting some speed on the ball, finding the zone, and making the Rough Riders miss. Next one goes high and outside for the first ball of the at-bat to the left fielder, number 33, Aaron Kidd. Redshirt sophomore from Regis and is originally from Parker, Colorado. Way outside, and it ties the count up 2-1.
Well, something I'll say is the pitching staff from the Larks tonight has looked fantastic. I mean, fantastic. From Brooks Jones to Dalton Campbell, they've both just been on all cylinders, just firing. You see right there, Jones is just rocketing those pitches over home plate, and those are hard pitches to hit. I mean, he's putting a lot of velocity behind those.
And it's carrying over from his last appearance down in Parker, Colorado, where he had 10 strikeouts alone and 4 innings of work. He will work against a full count against Aaron Kidd as that one misses down low. Kidd has been walked 2 times tonight, and been struck out once. Payoff pitch from Jones is fouled out behind us over the press box. Jones trying to win the battle, and this one will get away from Paul Smith, and it's a walk, moving Aaron Kidd over to first base. It's the third time he's been walked tonight. That'll take us now to the catcher, Matt Gahan, native of Scottsdale, Arizona. 0-for-2 on the night. Swings and misses at the first pitch for strike one. Taking the lead over at first base is Aaron Kidd. All the full counts that he faced tonight, he was walked on. Trying to add some more runs. This one fouled back. And there's going to be 2 strikes in the count now to Gahan, who was struck out on his last appearance back in the 5th inning, which was when the Larks brought in Brooks Jones.
Well, we've seen from both pitchers that this outing, from both Jones and Campbell, for that matter, they've really done a nice job at taking control of the count early in the at-bat.
Pitch on the way from Jones is line foul. And Gahan, looking for his first hit, is trying to stay alive. Last few batters have had a long appearance at the plate for the Roughriders, trying to score their first run since the 5th inning. Just misses on the outside. Jones put it out there. It curved back in. Just couldn't find the zone. We'll deliver the next pitch, and it's a swing and a miss for the first strikeout of the inning. There is one away. That is 5 strikeouts on the night for Brooks Jones, or correction, 4. I was listening to Ken Winholtz, our PA announcer.
I think Ken was just as confused as we were on the on that 2-strike deal. That's one that I had never really thought about or really come across before, but that's a good one to know. I wasn't aware of that rule, and that's very good to note in the future for sure. And regardless, both Larks players, or both Larks pitchers, I guess I should say, have had excellent outings. Obviously, Campbell had 5 strikeouts in 4 1/3 innings, and Brooks Jones so far really kind of carrying the baton. Had a nice handoff from Campbell and just kind of threw it up on a platter for him.
Yep. Next batter, Marco Polizzi's ahead 2-0. He's been struck out twice tonight and has also got a single. Swing and a miss for the first strike. Jones put it up high, and Polizzi took a swing at it. Polizzi takes a 3-1 lead, leaving that one at his feet. That one fouled back into the netting. Polizzi was just able to barely get a hold of it. And he is the second batter this inning to face a full count. The first one was Aaron Kidd, who's over at first base after being walked. Payoff pitch goes inside, and there is another walk for the Roughriders.
Well, both Campbell and Jones is kind of, as I mentioned, they've both had great outings. Don't get me wrong, but I think they really do take command of that count early on, but then they struggle to put them away at the very end. And they try to get them to bite. They try to get them to, go back and forth and move them around the strike zone. But it's been difficult for them to get them to swing on those third strikes. And I think that's where their bullpen as a whole, it really struggles the most.
And Keith Harper is going to go to the mound for a meeting with Brooks Jones with just 1 out and 2 runners on base. So Jones will stay on the mound. Wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to keep him on for the remainder of the game. Because I'll remind fans once again, all the Larks need to do in this series is win 2. And they get the season series over the Roughriders, which would make them the 5th team on the season that the Larks get a season series win against. They still have to do it against Liberal and Denver. Fouled out of play, starts the count off 0-1 to Andy LaPearl. His first 2 appearances were singles to the shallow part of the outfield and center and right field. His most recent one was a ground out over to C.J. Reed. And the count now moves to 1-1. And I've just been told once again, another update about the lightning strikes. The nearest strike reported was 6 miles away. And we're still in the top part of the inning, so we could get a delay here in just a second. We'll just see how it plays out. Jones delivers the 1-2 and just misses on the inside. Jones took a look back at second base, delivers the 1-2, or correction, the 2-2, and he's going to face another full count against the Roughriders. Payoff pitches. Goes right into the glove of Jones, a no-look catch, and the Larks turn a double play. I cannot believe what I just saw. Jones just put his glove down, and the ball went right to it. How about that to end the top of the 8th inning?
I mean, I don't know. Like, there's no other way to describe that except fate. It was meant to happen. It just had to happen.
Larks are 6 outs away from getting a win, and they'll be out to bat for what might be the last time when we come back with Lane Sparks leading off the inning. After that highlight play by Brooks Jones to turn a double play, we start the bottom of the 8th inning with Lane Sparks up to bat. He was the leadoff batter in the prior inning. The Larks went around their order. For the first time tonight, they had one inning back in the third where they had 8 batters go up to the plate. That's the most they sent up tonight. Sparks starts with an 0-2 count.
Well, I've got to apologize. I'm always full of puns and one-liners.
I know what you're about to say.
Sparks, he's manifesting the lightning out in the outfield right now. I'm just wondering if we got sparks on the field, if we might have more sparks on the field. I'm seeing lightning overhead. We're getting real close here I think they're getting ready to call it here before too long.
Like I said in the last inning, the closest reported strike was 6 miles away. And in most sports leagues, if it's within 10 miles, that's where they go to a delay. But we've played enough baseball to the point where they'll just be able to call it. But I know the Larks, they'll want to play the remainder of tonight's game. Trent Baker fouls off the first pitch with an 0-1 count and a runner at first. This could be his last chance to extend his home run streak. Low into the zone for the first ball. He's already gotten on base twice tonight with 2 walks.
Come on, Trent.
And even if he isn't able to extend the streak, that is just incredible that you can go that many games in a row with a home run.
That is pretty incredible. I mean, that's nothing to shrug your shoulder on. I mean, 5 games is a pretty that's a pretty monumentous streak to hit.
Like I had someone come ask me, is there a franchise record for home run hit streak? And unfortunately, I don't know. The only records we do is individual in a season.
That's what I was about to say. I mean, most ball clubs don't even keep track of that stuff because it doesn't happen ever. So this is something that you don't ever get to just see. So I guess take it all in while you can, folks.
And a foul tip, and that's going to be an out there for Trent Baker on the 2-2 count. I'm not sure what he was holding back for, but he'll head to the dugout.
Well, he just stood in the box there for a second, and I was like, what is going on? I swear that's an out. I thought it tipped off his glove, and if it didn't, he swung and missed. So
it was kind of low, so I'm thinking he might be trying to make an argument that it might have been dropped, but
maybe. I don't know.
Yep. Just 1 out. Jackson Babcock is up to bat. He's got 2 RBIs. And we'll lead the first one down there for ball 1. The runner at first is Lane Sparks, who just had his first hit of the night after starting this game with 2 walks and 2 runs scored. And a throw down to second base, and again, another underthrow by the catcher gives the Larks time for the steal. Second of the night for Lane Sparks. Third of the night.
Sparks has just got wheels on him. There's no other way to put it. He is so quick on the base paths, and right there, he was already almost to the bag by the time the ball got there. That is, I mean, he has got just some. He's got some real talent in terms of speed. That is something that not every baseball player has. A lot of those power hitters, or even just baseball players in general, sometimes you don't really always have the fastest players in the base paths, and Sparks is certainly an exception to that.
There are 3 balls in the count to Babcock, and there's the first strike, leaving that one on the inside part of the plate. Valadez looks back at second. Sparks takes a short lead. Put in play, Babcock will head it over to LaPearl, and that'll lead to out number 2. Sparks moves over to third base. And Wilbert Espinal returns to the plate for the 5th time tonight. His second home game and his return to the Larks.
Let's see if he can't drive in a run here. Espinal, you mentioned, I mean, he's had a hit in every single game that he's returned to the Larks so far.
Plus an RBI back in the 3rd inning off an error. A key player for this team. When he was on the championship team last year, he came out of Murray State Community College. Played his first season of Division I baseball this last year in the SWAC with Alabama State. And now he's back with the Larks. Breaking into the zone, there's the first strike to Espinal. This one will be driven deep into left field. Kidd gets under it, and that'll lead to out number 3. But for the Larks, they just need 3 outs to get their 20th win on the season. We will see if they can do that when we come back. Brooks Jones had another solid performance on the mound tonight as the relief pitcher. 3 2/3 innings of work. No runs allowed, 1 hit, and 4 strikeouts for the freshman from Lawrence, Kansas. And the call to the bullpen is made to number 30, Nolan Wilson, for his 8th appearance on the mound this season. Primarily used as a starter, I was looking at the wrong line. That's my apologies. He is primarily used as a starter, but this is his 6th appearance on the mound this season. And he's facing the top of the order for the Roughriders with Brett Atkinson, followed by Hunter Stevens and Jake Willerup.
Getting a little bit of closing action here tonight for the Larks. See what he can do to close this game out. Like you said, just 3 outs away, and the Larks have another W.
First pitch for Wilson goes up high. He's got the lowest opponent batting average for the Larks pitching at 133. Puts another one outside, and Atkinson is ahead 2-0. He started the game 0 for 2, but had his first hit in his last appearance back in the 6th inning. And that one goes down the middle for the first strike. And a reminder to fans, we will have the post-game interview after tonight's game. Tabor Stokes and Brooks Jones will be the guys that we interview tonight. This one will be fielded over to Stokes and lost control of it. Atkinson will get on as the leadoff batter from the air.
He could hear you, Hank. He could hear you talking about him. Maybe you need to go on a backpacking trip or something. Maybe that's what it is.
Broadcaster jinx strikes again.
Oh, man. Some pretty fireworks over there in right field. That was really close.
Puts that one on the outside for the first strike to Hunter Stevens. Wilson will take his time and put another one down the middle for the second strike. Stevens has gotten on base 3 times tonight, has yet to be struck out. Swing and a miss, and the strikeout for Wilson. He's got 22 on the year, and the Larks are just 2 outs away from their 20th win of the season.
The center fielder, number 23, Hunter Stevens.
Jake Willerup is up to bat with 1 out and a runner at first. Wilson's starting to get a feel for the zone now. He finds the outside part of the plate, moving the count to 0-1. And another strike. How about that for Nolan Wilson, looking to honestly, I don't know if I'd categorize this as a save, but coming in this late in the game, trying to preserve the lead. He gets another strikeout. There is 2 away.
Now this is how you close out a baseball game right here. Wilson is looking real good out there on the mound, getting the job done, throwing in, finding the zone. He's getting comfortable up there on the mound. He's all settled in now. He's just got 1 more out to go, and this ball game's as good as over.
First pitch is low for ball 1 to the 4th batter in the order, the first baseman, Mark Hamry. Oh for 4 on the night, 3 ground balls and a strikeout. Wilson delivers the 1-0, just misses high and outside. And Hamry is ahead 2-0. A sophomore from Arvada, Colorado. Trying to keep the Riders' hopes alive. And he drills that one foul, moving the count to 2-1. The Roughriders came into this game trying to end a 2-game losing streak. Those 2 games are the only games that they've played since they beat the Larks back on July 2nd. Here comes the tie-breaking pitch. And this one will be drilled into the outfield, picked up by Caleb Duncan, and advances both runners. And the Roughriders will try to get a 2-out rally, trying to keep their chances alive.
Now batting the third baseman, number 6, Mason Pettingill.
Mason Pettingill's up to bat, a late addition to this Roughriders team, because on the roster he is one of 2 players listed as wearing number 6. The first one was Peter Nickerson, but doesn't look like he's on the team anymore. It's an 0-1 count to the third baseman. Next pitch goes outside, swing and a miss. And the Roughriders are down to their final strike. We should start hearing the Larks fans start to clap and help Wilson out.
Well, he got him to chase on that pitch. That was a real good-looking pitch. It broke really late and just got him to bite on that pitch. It was a really nice-looking pitch there from Wilson.
There's the clapping. The 0-2 from Wilson. Takes a bounce in the other batter's box, and that's ball 1.
I saw what he was trying to do there. He was trying to find that outside corner, just couldn't quite get it there, and still got quite a bit of room to work with here.
Pitch from Wilson, swing and a miss, and the Larks have win number 20 on the season.
Well, that is how you end a baseball game right there. Hank's going down right now to go do the final interviews here, but that's how you end a baseball game. I mean, that was a great, well-rounded performance from the Larks. They started out a little slow, but, man, third inning they got things going on offense. Two scores for the Larks in the third inning, and then didn't score any in the fourth. Got to the fifth inning, scored that one run, which put him back on top after the Roughriders scored two, and from then on it was all Larks baseball. It was that seventh inning, though, that really kind of set them apart and set them ahead of everyone else by quite a measure. They scored those three extra runs there in that inning and was really kind of the difference maker in kind of deciding this game. And from then it was a little bit too far out of reach for the Roughriders. And overall, well-rounded performance for the Larks. Hit the ball well. They had 8 hits on the night, and the pitching staff was wonderful. They had, let's see here, I'm counting 9, 12 strikeouts on the night for the pitching staff, so a pretty nice outing for the pitching staff tonight for the Larks. We're going to go down to Hank here in just a moment as he has a couple players down there on the field to interview. I don't know if he's going to get Stokes first or who he's going to go with first, but we will see here in just a moment. Once Ken is ready, they're trying to get this one in before the lightning hits because it is getting real close here. But there's not much else to say. I think the big thing for the Roughriders is Frost had a great performance, but it really came down to his longevity is what kept him in the game. So now we're going to send it down to Hank. Hank, down to you.
Hank, it's yours.
Thank you, Ken. I'm here first with Tabor Stokes, who had 3 hits tonight as the 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter. So how does it feel to do that in your return to the lineup tonight?
It felt really good, and it was just a good atmosphere tonight.
And tonight for you in the batting overall, you had to face the starting pitcher for 6 innings tonight. So how was that for you guys since it was kind of different?
He was a good arm, and we were able to get him out and do damage, so that's just what we needed to do.
And you're a returning player from last year's NBC World Series team, and you guys have all home games throughout the rest of the regular season. So how's that going to help you guys before you go down to Wichita?
Yeah, we're a lot better at home with this atmosphere, and I think that's good going forward. And also shout out to the Lindenmeyers over there.
Give it up for Tabor Stokes. I'm now here with Brooks Jones, who had another solid performance tonight as a relief pitcher, only giving up 1 hit and no runs, and had 4 strikeouts on the night. What was working for you?
Yeah, I mean, everything. Good team, really good at bats, and you just got to work with what you have at the moment and everything. Just work with everything you got and have fun out there and get the job done.
And the main reason I wanted to interview was because the end of the 7th inning, I believe, was when you had that highlight play. You put your glove down, no-look catch for a double play. What was going through your mind when that happened?
To be honest, I wasn't really sure if I caught it, but I mean, I looked down, saw I had it, and pretty much.
And in your last performance, you placed the game day Angels as the relief pitcher, and you had 10 strikeouts in that game. So how did that performance help you prepare you for this one?
Yeah, I mean, everything was working that day, and you just got to know that if it's working that day, and you just got to go back out there and repeat what you're doing and have fun.
Congrats on another great performance. Give it up for Brooks Jones.
Thanks, Hank, and thanks to Lewis Automotive Group in Hayes. Thanks to hitting star Tabor Stokes and tonight's winning pitcher, Brooks Jones. Don't forget the Larks.
Well, we appreciate Hank for doing that interview for us, and it was a great performance there from the Larks this evening from both Stokes and Brooks Jones himself. A pretty well-rounded performance. We're going to have Hank come up here into the booth, and then we will have our post-game thoughts here in just a moment. Stay tuned for the post-game show here in just a moment.
The Larks have finished 25 games now on the season, and they've won 80% of them as they get win number 20 on the season tonight over the Colorado Roughriders in another strong performance, taking the lead early, taking advantage of mistakes by the Roughriders, fielding that is, and they had some strong pitching, but the Larks were able to pull through in the end and get another win in the return home.
Yeah, they were, and it was a great performance from the Larks. As you said, the Roughriders started out pretty solid. It was Frost that really led the charge for the Roughriders. His pitching tonight was phenomenal. There's no other way to put it. He played a very good game for this Roughriders team. In the end, though, the Larks got their offense going, and that was really the difference maker.
And for the Larks, the pitching had some help from their fielders, but another strong performance. Dalton Campbell gets another start and another win. Brooks Jones comes in after that and does what he does best, putting the ball in the zone, getting the strikeouts. And then Nolan Wilson, who's another key pitcher for the Larks, he comes in and gets the save.
Yeah, 12 total strikeouts for the pitching staff tonight. That's a pretty nice number to hit when you're playing a full 9 innings. That's a good-looking pitching staff tonight. I am excited to see what this pitching staff can do going into the NBC World Series.
And with that, the Larks have gotten 10 games in a row now with at least 10 strikeouts. And this was a statement win for the start of this series. This was their 4th game against the Roughriders. They're now 3-1 in the season series. If they can win one more, they win the season series, which would make that their 5th series win of the season. And they just need 2 more for a clean sweep on the year. So it should be really exciting to see how they play out the rest of this series.
Without a doubt, and it certainly is a statement win. It was a very put an exclamation point to this win. I would say if you're looking at the season as a whole, this one has an exclamation point again, next to it, because it was a really complete game. They played this game from start to finish. It was a competitive baseball game for the majority of the game, but this was a statement win, and I think it's going to propel them to potentially win the season series here in the next 3 games.
This was the first of a 4-game series, and the Larks will be back at it tomorrow night, 7 o'clock first pitch. And I'll say real fast, I will not be joining you guys tomorrow night, but Eli, he will have the call tomorrow night. I know he's going to give you guys some good calls, and I will be back the day after that. So I wish you the best of luck tomorrow.
I'll try not to go throwing too many puns or one-liners. I'll try my best, guys. I'll try.
So that does it for our coverage of tonight's game as the Larks get the win over the Colorado Roughriders. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. I'm Hank Corsair. Alongside me tonight was Eli Blankenship, and have a good night.